All right, let's talk about it. If you feel like you're drowning in a sea of tech buzzwords right now, you are definitely not alone. I mean, artificial intelligence, machine learning, generative AI, they're just everywhere. So today, we're going to crack the code. We're going to figure out what these things actually are and, more importantly, how they all fit together. Let's dig in and see what's really going on under the hood.
You know, a lot of people frame this as some kind of showdown. AI versus ML. Is one better? Are they fighting for the same turf? It's a totally natural question, but it might just be the wrong way to look at it.
Because here's the thing, it's not a rivalry at all. A much better way to think about this is like a family tree, or, you know what, even better, a set of those Russian nesting dolls. Each concept fits right inside the other, building on the one that came before it.
To really get this, we've got to start with the biggest doll of them all, the original dream, artificial intelligence.
What's so wild is that the idea of AI isn't new. Not at all. We're talking about a concept that's been around since the 1950s, with pioneers like Alan Turing basically asking, hey, why can't machines use knowledge to solve problems just like humans do? That's AI, that big, huge, overarching goal of simulating our intelligence in a machine.
So here it is, our first and largest nesting doll, artificial intelligence. This is the whole field, the big, ambitious idea that holds everything else we're about to talk about.
Now, for decades, AI was pretty much stuck in research labs. But then a really practical approach came along that started to make that dream feel real. And that was machine learning.
Okay, this is the really crucial part. Instead of a programmer sitting down and writing step-by-step rules for every single possibility, machine learning just flips that whole idea on its head. You feed the machine a ton of data, and you let it figure out the patterns for itself so it can make predictions. It's a massive shift from old-school programming.
And there you have it. ML isn't separate from AI, it's a subset of it. It's a specific, powerful way to achieve that original AI goal. It's our second nesting doll, and it fits right inside the first.
I know this can still feel a little up in the clouds, so let's make it super concrete with a simple, and let's be honest, delicious analogy. How would a machine learning model figure out if you should order a pizza tonight?
Okay, so first, the model needs data. It needs inputs. It takes our very human question and breaks it down into things it can measure. For our pizza model, let's say we've got 3 inputs: saving time, losing weight, and saving money. We can just use a 1 for yes and a 0 for no. Simple enough.
Now here's where the learning part really kicks in. We assign weights to tell the model what we care about most. Saving time is a huge deal, right? So let's give that a weight of 5. Staying in shape, that's important. We'll give that a 3. And money, that gets a 2. The model just crunches the numbers, and if the final score is positive, boom, it's pizza night. It's a really basic version of how ML uses data and priorities to make a pretty good guess.
Okay, so that's machine learning. But if we want to get to the really mind-blowing stuff, like recognizing your face in a photo or talking to your phone, we need to go one layer deeper. Let's talk deep learning.
So think of deep learning as machine learning on steroids. It's actually inspired by how our own brains are structured, using these things called neural networks. Imagine layers of decision makers. The first layer might spot simple things like lines and curves. The next layer puts those together to see shapes. The layer after that sees objects. The deep part, that just means there are lots of layers, which lets it spot incredibly complex patterns all by itself.
And there we go. We add another doll to our set. Deep learning isn't its own thing. It's a subfield of machine learning, which is a subfield of AI. See the pattern? Each layer is just a more specialized version of the last.
So what's the real difference in the real world? Well, a huge one is the data. Traditional ML usually needs people to label the data first. You know, this is a cat, this is a dog. But deep learning, it can often take just a giant, messy pile of raw data, like millions of pictures, and figure out the important features all on its own. It needs way less hand-holding from us, which is what makes it so incredibly powerful.
And this finally brings us to the newest, and honestly the most exciting layer of the doll. This is the one that's behind all the chatbots and the crazy AI art you're seeing everywhere, generative AI.
Okay, this is the big leap. Most other forms of AI are great at analyzing data that already exists to make a prediction or classify something. Generative AI is different. It uses that deep learning brain to generate something totally new. It's not just a judge of content, it's a creator.
And look at that, our nesting doll is complete. Generative AI is the very innermost layer, a special kind of deep learning, which is a type of machine learning, all living under that huge umbrella of artificial intelligence.
I really love this analogy because it just makes the difference so clear. Think of traditional AI as an art critic. It studies thousands of paintings to learn all the rules and patterns so it can tell you, yep, that's a good painting. Generative AI, that's the artist. It studies all the same paintings, but then you give it a blank canvas and some brushes, and it creates a brand new, totally original piece of art.
Okay, we've built our nesting doll. We see how it all fits together, but where does this thing live? You probably hear the term data science thrown around with all of this stuff, so where does that fit in?
Well, data science isn't another doll. It's the whole workshop where the dolls are made. It's the entire field dedicated to getting knowledge out of data. And our nesting dolls, AI, ML, and DL, are pretty much the coolest, most powerful tools in any data scientist toolkit.
You know, it's kind of fascinating when you look at how long this has all taken. The dream of AI starts way back in the 50s. We got a little wave of expert systems in the 80s. But it wasn't until the 2010s, when we suddenly had these massive data sets and incredible computing power, that ML and deep learning really, truly took off. And now, just in the last few years, generative AI has caused an absolute explosion.
So this is the big takeaway, right? It was never AI versus ML. It's an evolution. Each new layer is built right on top of the one before it, pushing us closer and closer to that original, crazy ambitious dream of true artificial intelligence.
And that leaves us with a pretty profound final thought, doesn't it? We've managed to build machines that can learn, that can predict, and now they can create. You know, original art, text, music. So as these tools just get more and more powerful, you have to ask yourself, what's our role in all this? What's left for us to do? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me.